I played Oblivion Remastered on Master difficulty with permadeath, but in sewer rags, without dealing direct damage so that you don't have to.
If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. Watch out!
Here are the rules of the run. I had to be on Master difficulty the whole time, I had one life and only one life, and if I died I had to start over. I had to wear the unchanged, unenchanted sewer rags that you get at the start of the game. I could not fast travel, I couldn't use DLC, and I could not deal damage directly to enemies. I did allow myself the means to crowd control enemies or summon creatures on my behalf to deal with them, but I could not deal any damage directly. For my race and origin right out of the gate, I decided to go with a High Rock Breton. I also named my character the Green Goblin because I think he bears a striking resemblance to Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man. Oh yeah, he's also Green Goblin III because this was my third attempt. You can see the other save files like Gigi's grandson and stuff like that, but I had some recording issues before I got all that sorted out. Quick little verification that we're on Master difficulty. We get taunted by that Dark Elf bastard across the way.
Pale skin, snotty expression. You're a Breton. You're going to die.
To all the new Oblivion players out there, I'll just tease you with this. You may be able to get your revenge on him later. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Also, just a quick pro tip, the origins actually are not just cosmetic, they do have an actual impact on your character. So for example, if you select the Sistries origin for a Breton, or any origin for any race, and then go to the Overview tab, you'll actually see the origin trait listed as the last strength in the Overview tab. So for example, the Sistries Bretons have higher strength, but if you select the High Rock Breton, you will see higher speed listed as a strength instead. As a Breton with less than 40 endurance, I had no intention of getting hit by anything. My past Green Goblin characters informed me that getting hit by a Mythic Dawn Agent or a zombie in these caverns will get you killed immediately. All I wanted was to regroup with the blades as quickly as possible. There was still the off chance that a Mythic Dawn Agent could kill me, because that's what happened in the past, but I feel a hell of a lot safer with them than I do on my own. For my side, I decided to go with the Atronach Stone, a purely defensive option. Any sign that gives offensive capabilities like strength from the warrior is not going to be of any use to me since I can't directly damage anything. Also, the Atronach Stone just gives me a flat-out 50% chance to survive a shot that might just immediately kill me otherwise. Not regenerating magicka was a steep price to pay, but I had a plan to deal with that in the early game, and it also means that willpower was a considerably less attractive stat, since willpower governs magicka regeneration and the Atronach Stone prevents magicka regeneration, so you can't regenerate what your birth sign says you're not allowed to regenerate, and that means I could put my stat priority elsewhere. I was really tempted to take the Thief Stone. 10 speed in the early game would help me dodge a lot of early threats, and 10 luck is pound for pound probably the best starting bonus in the game. Each level you're granted 12 virtues, and it takes 5 of them to level up 1 luck point, and you can only level up luck once per level, so you're effectively getting 50 virtues for free in just luck alone, which equates to about 4.6 levels on top of the other bonuses. So you can essentially think of the Thief Stone as at least a free 5 levels coming out of the gate. In the end though, I decided to go with the Atronach because I didn't think the agility was worth it, the speed can be negated in a couple levels, and I really just like the idea of flat out absorbing stuff. I also had a plan in mind for utilizing spell absorption later in my playthrough, and the Atronach was going to be a really crucial part of it. Just before the Emperor got iced, I decided to go ahead and farm my acrobatics to 25. Also, I noticed at some point Baurus and Glenroy stopped yelling, so there must be a finite amount of Mythic Dawn agents that can actually be spawned and killed, but holy shit, there were so many of them I almost couldn't find Glenroy's Akaviri Katana. I mean, there's just bodies and bodies and bodies.
Stranger, you
After the Emperor gets iced, I pick my class. The magic specialization was going to help me level up my chosen skills faster since most of them were magic skills. Intelligence and endurance help me with max magic and max health respectively, and endurance is also critical because it affects how much health you're going to get throughout the game as you level up. Alchemy was going to be a core component of not only my money making, but also my ability to regenerate my magicka. Restoration and Sneak were two skills I didn't end up using a whole lot. In theory, Restoration was good because I could heal myself, but I figured if I was in need of healing, I was probably dead anyway. And Sneak I thought was a good early game skill, but it didn't end up being much good in the end. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have picked Acrobatics or something like that. Given all the other cheeses I chose to exercise in the video, I was somewhat hesitant to invoke the Restoration cheese. Like, I just didn't want to fortify my skills to ludicrous levels and then go flying around the map like some deranged skooma addict off a rehab program thrown into the Bravil Lagoon. Is it a lagoon or a river or what? I don't know, but you can't open the gate in there, so the water must be pretty dirty if they don't want to let it into the city. Fresh out of the sewers, I immediately decide to go ahead and test my luck with a bandit and a dog, and I get laid out in 2 hits. On to Green Goblin 4. Everything I just went over in the last 8 minutes still applies, and I make it out of the sewers on that character with all the same stuff I told you about just now. As soon as I exited the sewers, I formulated a plan. I was going to need to stay alive without armor or damaging enemies, so spellmaking was pretty much my only choice. Some basic spells like 50% Chameleon or 15% Shield could become really powerful with 100% Chameleon or 100% Shield. 100% Shield is basically invulnerability from melee attacks, and 100% Chameleon is equivalent to invisibility. It even says this in the help menu of the game. In addition to that, I could create an absorb spell magnitude of 50%, which combined with the Atronach Stone absorbing 50% spells means that I would absorb any spell cast at me. As far as I know, spell absorption stacks because when I had 50% spell absorption, I absorbed everything. So there you have it, invisibility while being able to move around and attack, 100% shield for melee attacks, and 100% spell absorption. That was the goal. Although even with 100% shield, I still ended up taking fairly ludicrous amounts of damage from enemies. Through my first run of Oblivion Remastered, I also figured out that spellmaking has one other neat advantage to it. Being able to craft your own spells means you get to determine the magicka cost of the spells. Higher magicka cost means faster level increases. To show you what I mean, here is a clip of me casting an illusion spell on Arlenway. It's the spell you get in Bravil called Captivate. It costs 33 magicka, and I start right at 37 illusion. To go from 37 illusion to 38 illusion with the Captivate spell, it took 8 casts. Now here's a clip of me taking a spell that I made on my own, called These Aren't the Droids, we'll get to that later. That costs 6 magicka. Using this wimpy little spell, watch how many casts it takes to get from 38 to 39 illusion.
What do you do?
So it's pretty clear. The more magicka the spell uses, the more experience you get from it. So being able to just take your entire magic bar and dump it into one cast means you can level super quickly. But because these spells were going to take my entire magicka bar, and because I can't regenerate magicka naturally, we have to get some potions. So the long-term plan is, get 100 alchemy, make a bunch of potions that restore a bunch of magic, sell the rest for a bunch of money, then use the restore magicka potions to basically keep my magicka bar topped off or overflowing at a ridiculous rate while I cast spells with ridiculous cost to turbo boost my skills to 100, then use the 100 skills to make ridiculously broken spells that allow me to survive the game. Also, I forgot to mention, I am an indoor stair luge. It just might be crazy enough to work. From Green Goblin 1 or 2, I forget which one, I recognized that I needed to go immediately to the Leyawin Mages Guild. First, Leyawin has a ton of bog beacon caps, which restore magicka natively, and they're going to be crucial to restoring my magic. Magicka, for all you grammar Nazis out there. Secondly, the Mages Guild recommendation is by far one of the harder ones on Master difficulty. Not only do you have to clear a full fort of bandits, you also have to do so without access to the Arcane University. For me, that means no access to spellmaking, which means no access to circumventing all the things that make this run difficult, and I literally have no way to damage anybody other than summon creatures in the basic spells until I get access to that. So, the earlier the better. Sorry for not warning you guys about spoilers earlier. Spoiler alert, I'm about as late on that one as Martin will be to Cloud Ruler Temple, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, the Leyawin Mages Guild fight is definitely one you want to get out of the way early, because not only do you have to fight all those bandits, you also have to fight Kalthar, and Kalthar is one of the NPCs you can't run from, so I have to fight him with subpar magic when I'm really weak, really early on, or else I don't have access to the Arcane University, and it's just going to get more and more difficult as he scales in power, so we gotta take him out right now. Since I had to travel by the 9 Divines, I was going to stay on the roads, and I also developed a pattern of trying to sneak anytime I could for ingredients off the roads. The last thing I needed was to take an arrow to the knee, or an arrow to a less fortunate place, and end up right back where I started in the Imperial prison, 45 minutes of my life wasted, and having to basically redo all the really tedious stuff that I just did. Ain't trying to hear it, man. I'll sneak my way all the way down to Leyawin if I have to. On the way down there, I got robbed, but I was one broke Breton, and he didn't want to be dealing with me.
Pay up. Times are hard when I rob.
It's probably one of the only times in my life where having no money saved my life. Other than that, though, it was a pretty chill trip. I gathered some alchemy ingredients and made it to Leyawin and joined the Mages Guild without incident.
Welcome, child, to the Guild of Mages.
I learned that Gale is losing her mind, and that I now have to retrieve her amulet from some really old fort. On to Fort Blueblood. I fight a mud crab. Gather some alchemical ingredients. And begin clearing out the bandits one by one.
That the best you can do? Showing your face was the last mistake you'll ever make.
Who's there?
This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. Take that!
I got really excited creeping up behind one of the bandits, which sounds really stalkery, but hear me out. I was trying to reverse pickpocket a poison into his inventory, something you could do in the original game and something you can do in Skyrim, but in Oblivion Remastered it's actually not possible. There's a message that pops up telling you you can't do it. So I was really disappointed, and it was another reason that sneak is just a dead skill to me at this point. I thought maybe I could use it to sneak some extra damage in there since it's not technically me doing the damage and it takes a fair amount of skill, but I guess Oblivion Remastered wasn't having any of it. I was still deathly afraid to get hit by anything, though. I get the amulet, and Kalthar tries to stop me.
Look, just stop right there, all right?
I really like his little line where he's like, I shouldn't have to go through all this. Why do you have to get in the way? Why do you have to ruin everything?
I took the other one, and that should have been enough. I shouldn't have to go through all this just to get rid of her. Why did you have to get in the way? Why are you trying?
I still use that line with my girlfriend anytime she asks me to get a water or anything. It's one of my all-time favorites. As soon as he turns hostile to me, I pop the dragon skin power that the Bretons get. I'm not taking any chances, and again, Kalthar's a fight you can't run from because he locks the door. He's pretty quick with the sword and still has me sweating, but we cut him down. Or, more accurately, my skeleton cuts him down. Go, Skelly, you're a good boy. I fumble around the fort for a little while looking for the Marauder Chieftain that had the steel armor when I was contemplating wearing it. Then I decided it might make for a more entertaining concept to just wear the rags the whole way, and I didn't want the heavy armor to encumber me anyway. I gave to Gale her amulet back, she gave me a creepy warning in return, and I was off to Bravil.
I have seen things in your future, things which may be, and things which will be. It will be up to you to decide the fate of many. Life and death are strange things, easily manipulated, and both will be altered by your hands.
I do Bravil next not only because it's closest, but because it actually sends you to the Imperial City, which we'll have to go to anyway in order to make all our bank and get alchemy ingredients and stuff like that, so it's just nice to pick it up since I gotta go back to Bravil once I hit the Imperial City. I pick up alchemy ingredients along the way, buy some from Ardaline, make a fuck ton of potions, and pick up the Bravil Recommendation, where you have to get the mage's staff back from Varen Vamori because he stole it from Ardaline because he likes her, or some ridiculous male thing, I suppose.
I don't understand it. Some ridiculous male thing, I suppose.
My frames take a dump as I go to the Imperial City, so I'll try to show as little of that as I can.
You will the Kraganmore at be seeing you.
I don't trust you, and we'll see. That thing? Saurus keeps it locked in a chest down in the basement. It's not like anyone determined enough couldn't get their hands on it. The key is in his desk.
A bit of good old-fashioned thievery has me taking the staff and booking it back to Bravil. after picking up some ingredients, of course. I get back to Bravil, turn in the recommendation, and also hit level 4. Level 4 gives me 5 more endurance, 5 more intelligence, and 2 more speed. Max health, max magic, and speed are going to be the things that keep me alive until I can get to the Arcane University and begin making spells. I've also got 57 alchemy and a bunch of restore fatigue potions, which I use to trivialize the mountains on the way to Cheydinhal.
Associate.
The restore fatigue potions were really clutch. Not only did they allow me to just infinitely sprint and regain fatigue while sprinting, they also allow me to just buzz up the mountains. You think Skyrim mountain running was cool? Wait till you try Oblivion with restore fatigue potions. The restore fatigue potions actually allow you to pretty much always have fatigue, which means you're always allowed to jump, which means you can just jump right up the mountain, or buzz up, as I like to call it. You'll see it happen a lot in Bruma too. We meet Falcar, who has a serious case of the Oblivion bipolar syndrome. I apologize in advance to anyone who actually is bipolar out there, but this was just too funny, and it's one of the reasons I love this game.
Welcome. If you wish to talk, it is really no trouble at all. What is it, associate? Don't tell me you're here for a recommendation. Don't waste my time if you're not ready for this. Are you prepared to do what is necessary to gain a recommendation from me?
After receiving the task to get the Ring of Burden from the well, we stop by Island Way, the local guild alchemist, buy a bunch of ingredients, sell a bunch of potions, and then craft a bunch more. At this point, I was really worn out on the welcome for the buying and selling interface, and it's one of the things that I wish they would change about the game. You have to hit enter anytime you want to sell something, and you have to hit enter again anytime you want to sell something in a quantity of 3 or more. If you have a quantity of 2, you actually have to hit enter twice, because you have to sell both items. It just gets really repetitive after a while, that's all.
I shall...
The alchemy interface was needing a rework too. Not only do you have to go to your mortar and pestle and equip it to go through the items, you also have to filter through the list of effects. I'd rather have it like Skyrim, where they have the effects listed and then you can just choose the ingredients to make the effects, or choose from ingredients that you don't know the effects of. I know that Oblivion has different mechanics, but I found that Skyrim's alchemy interface was a little bit easier to use. Let me know in the comments what you think about the interfaces and whether you would change them, and what changes you would make. Now that I'm done belly aching though, let's get back to our operation. The recommendation itself wasn't too bad. We grabbed the ring from the well, and it's not too much trouble because we weren't carrying anything in the first place, and we also managed to find the gems at Falcar's desk without any trouble. It's a nice breather after having done all that legwork to the Imperial City. Going further around the clock in a counterclockwise direction, our next destination is Bruma. Bruma has a lot of mountains, but we have those fatigue potions I mentioned earlier, and you're gonna get to see me buzz up the mountains without any problems. The Bruma recommendation isn't too bad either. Jean Fransorik wants us to find Jaskar, who has gone missing. In order to find Jaskar, we have to talk to Volinaro, and once we've charmed him up enough, he'll tell us that he wants to pull a prank on Jensine. Not Jensine. Jesus. Jean. Jensine is in the Imperial City running good as new merchandise. Wrong NPC, wrong city. The prank's pretty simple. You just go upstairs, unlock her desk, and steal her spellcraft manual. Then you just meet Volinaro in the living quarters after 11 PM once you hand him the spell manual, and he makes Jaskar reappear right there. That's it, that's the Bruma recommendation. Pretty simple.
Find Jaskar? Alright, I think I can help with that.
For some reason in this run, Volinaro tried to make Jaskar reappear, but he didn't. He actually remained cloaked. I could swear in the original game that he actually appeared, and in most of the runs in Oblivion Remastered, he should reappear as well. Do you guys have the same problem, where he doesn't appear properly? Let me know. Maybe it's not a problem, maybe it's the way Bethesda intended it, but still, I think it's kinda weird. The Coral Recommendation is up next. The Coral Recommendation involves a little bit of legwork, but it's not too difficult. Tychius, the guild head, asks you to deal with a disgraced member of the Mages Guild, Arana, who apparently is errantly believing he is misusing his powers. It's one of my favorite lines in the game as far as voiceovers go. I just love the way he says errantly, he drags it out.
She does not care for guild regulations, and errantly believes I am misusing my powers.
Anyway, we go talk to Arana, and she says she wants a book called Fingers of the Mountain from a place called Cloudtop. Tychius orders us to go grab that immediately, and off we go.
opportunity.
I had actually tried to grab the book before talking to Tikius because I hit Cloudtop anyway on the way over to Coral, but the charred body with the book wasn't actually in place. I think it spawns after you talk to him, but we grab the book from Cloud Mountain and return to Tikius, who says he will keep it safely locked away in an unlocked chest with me right next to him.
I must ensure this.
In the original game, this is actually locked. He actually does secure the book. That's one difference I noticed from the remaster to the original game. He doesn't lock the chest in this one. We grab the book and give it back to Arana, who tells us to come back in 24 hours.
Back again, are you? Do you have the... Ah, wonderful. I'll just take this from you and get to work translating it. I'll need some time with this. Come and I'll be here until I've finished my work.
I'm the hero of Kvatch, or soon to be the hero of Kvatch, and I don't have time, so I don't actually ever come back and grab the reward she gives you. I won't spoil that for all you new Oblivion players out there. I gotta leave some surprises in, so you can just see what she gives you later, or look it up on the wiki if you're curious. On the way out of Coral, we finally progress the main quest by hitting up Joffrey, who tells us to go save Martin and Kvatch. But we're not gonna do that just yet, because I want better spells before I go up against the Daedra. I'm pretty certain I'm gonna get creamed if I don't have anything good in my hands by the time I go into the Oblivion Gates. On the note of having stronger spells, I did grab a summon Dremora spell before leaving Coral. It's a nice upgrade to the skeleton, and it'll help keep me alive. Well, maybe not that Dremora, but you get the point. When I arrive in Skingrad, the local guild head, Adrienne, tasks me with finding Urthor, a mage associate who has gone off to Bleak Falls Cave. I almost said Bleak Falls Barrow. Bleak Flats Cave to practice his necromancy. When I get to Bleak Flats Cave, I have to actually clear the zombies out that Urthor created in order to help him safely get back to Skingrad. I was really nervous about this part of the run because one hit from a zombie could mean disaster. I'd already been one hit in the Imperial sewers, and I was a little traumatized from that experience with no desire to repeat it again. One mistake here could totally end the run. But my Dremora made short work of them.
Oh, thank you. I'm ever so... You're heading back to Skingrad, aren't you? Could I maybe come with you? It'd be safer, I think.
Urthor asks if he can come back to Skingrad with me, but I tell him to just fuck off. And there's a Skingrad recommendation.
What? I've spoken with Urthor, who seems to be all right. Good work. I'll see to it that your recommendation is sent in as soon as I have a free moment.
On my way out of Skingrad, I was approached by a guy named Glarthir, a paranoid guy who wants to talk to me behind the chapel at midnight. I already know what happens with this quest, but I remember the first time I got it, I was really afraid when I showed up at that chapel. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's a super fun quest to do if you're just new to Oblivion. It's one of my favorites, and I actually thought about naming the channel after Glarthir in some fashion. Super fun quest, super fun character, and I'm sure the voice actor had a lot of fun with that.
Over here! Yes, you. We need to talk. Yes. We can't talk here. Too public. Meet me behind the great chapel at midnight. Don't let anyone follow you. I'll make it worth your while.
I chug more potions, gather more ingredients, and head down to Anvil. I'm skipping Kvatch for now because, like I said, I want some better spells, which means access to the Arcane University.
You need simply...
When I arrive in Anvil, I am met with Cheydinhal, who tasks me with resolving a situation along the Gold Road, involving a rogue mage. Of all the guild heads, she's my favorite. She says, hey, I know what you're doing is dangerous, but that's a really great way to learn some stuff. Kinda reminds me of Willy Wonka when the kid falls into the river and the mom's like, he can't swim, and Wonka's just like, well, there's no better time to learn.
The Council of Mages has entrusted me with resolving a situation along the Gold Road. Several traveling merchants have been found dead along the Gold Road recently, with even more missing. You are to travel north to the Brianna Cross Inn and speak with Ariel Gerard.
I get to the Brianna Cross Inn, get the lowdown from Ariel Gerard, who tells us to rent a room and that we will try to lure the rogue mage out in the morning, after we get some sleep.
Cheydinhal has sent you, has she not? Go and speak with Kristoff. Rent a room for the night. Once you have your room, I will meet you there. Once you've rested, you'll need to continue along the Gold Road, heading east towards Kvatch. Once the mage has revealed himself, we will step in and settle the matter quickly. Now, get yourself some sleep.
I get some sleep. Level up. And then we end up dealing with the Rogue Mage, who really wasn't that big of a threat. I mean, this recommendation is kinda dangerous if she hits you, but you have Ariel, Gerard, and a couple Battle Mages, and the Rogue Mage literally just walks up to you like she's asking for a stroll instead of your money.
I'm afraid your journey ends here, traveler. I'll be taking whatever you're carrying. After you're dead, of course. I do hope it's more than the last few had. They were most disappointing.
I mean, you'd think if you're there to rob somebody, you'd immobilize them first, then tell them you're there to rob them.
You have received recommendations from every guild hall, have you not? Then you are ready to advance to the Arcane University. Raminus Polus will want to speak with you.
Now it's finally time to go to the Imperial City and gain access to the Arcane University, having completed all the required recommendations. We hit up Raminus, and we are officially allowed in.
I have received recommendations from all the local guild halls in Cyrodiil. You've done well for yourself. You may now enter the university. Before you can begin work for the guild, you'll need to do something for yourself. Every mage carries a staff. It is crafted and enchanted by the guild and is a symbol of status. You need such a staff.
Now phase 1 of the project can officially begin. Get 100 alchemy, get a bunch of money, and make really busted spells that allow me to survive not being able to damage anything. Other than the spellmaking and enchanting altars, the Arcane University also has a garden filled with a bunch of alchemical ingredients, which are good for our alchemy strat.
There's something I'd like to discuss with you.
I'm listening.
I make a bunch of potions, then head over to Arlen Way at the Mystic Emporium in the Market District to make some serious cash. Actually, wait, before I do that, we have our first cheese of the game, if running with a bunch of fatigue potions doesn't count as a cheese. I made a 1-second, 100-point charm spell to basically trick anybody that I'm talking to into immediately liking me to the maximum amount. Other than bypassing speechcraft and making it a useless skill, the 1-second charm spell is going to be more than enough for any conversation, because when you talk to an NPC in Oblivion, it freezes time, and 1 second lasts as long as you're talking to the NPC, so you can charm somebody for 1 second, and then buy and sell and persuade all you need. It's pretty neat. Arlen Way, these aren't the droids you are looking for. Pro tip number 2, if you need to buy or sell anything, go to Arlen Way. She has a really, really shitty mercantile skill, and provided that she likes you a lot, you can buy or sell just about anything at ridiculous prices. To my knowledge, Arlen Way is one of the only merchants in the game that actually has 2,000 gold for barter. I think that's part of the DLC, so I realized in hindsight that I actually broke my rule of not using DLC, but mainly my intention there was not to use Frostcrag Spire to gain instant access to the Arcane University and as a means of fast travel between all the guild halls. All the hard work in the run is about to pay off, and I'm about to print more alchemy ingredients than the Federal Reserve printed money in 2020. I mean, really, the potions are just gonna start getting cranked out. In the process of doing all that, I hit 100 alchemy somewhere in there, and then the mercantile skill is also going to go through the roof, because I'm able to sell these potions at ridiculous quantities for ridiculous prices. The more gold you sell something for, the more it seems to affect your mercantile skill. I hit 100 alchemy and 50 mercantile while in the same room because of how many potions I made.
Much later.
A good price.
With over 100 Restore Magicka potions and over 30,000 gold, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about Magicka or money ever again. So now the only thing left to do is to make spells. Spells with ridiculously high costs that I'll also be using to farm my skills up to 100, and then make better spells, and then go about my business.
Please. Greetings to you.
With all that out of the way, there was just one thing missing. A mage's staff. I think Raminus is right. If I can't at least damage enemies, maybe a staff will help me. And, you know, I kinda wanna be like Gandalf the Grey and get one for good luck. Time to head into Wellspring Cave, like Raminus said. I hope getting my staff will be as easy as talking to the people he told me to talk to. Nope, we gotta fight people. Oh well. This was actually one of the first really scary parts of the run because I ran out of magic potions in here, and that's really bad. Even though I totally ignored the 34 invisibility potions I have in my inventory in an attempt to get away. I learned a really valuable lesson. I could not afford to run out of magic potions. Ever. I had to have so many that running out was never even an option. I had to have magic potions on magic potions. So I headed down to Skingrad to grab some flaxseed. Flaxseed is one of the plants that has Restore Magicka as its first ingredient, meaning that I could take one flaxseed plant and make 2 Restore Magicka potions out of it. I was gonna have so much flax that I could flex my flax. Say that 5 times fast. Don't give me any flax for that pun. Around this time, I also decided to take a trip to the Leyawin Mage's Guild to see if they had a reflect damage spell. Rather than doing shield and then casting a bunch of creatures or casting invisibility, I thought it would be really great if I could just cast a 100% reflect damage spell and call it a day. I spent a good amount of time looking for this, but ultimately discovered through the wiki that there are only 2 ways you can get the reflect damage spell. The first is the Shivering Isles, which I had no intention of going to, given that I just needed to save Martin and call it good, and the second is through the Tower Stone natively. Okay, back to Wellspring Cave with a bunch of magic potions, and it's time to get it on.
You'll dance for me, little one. Yes, you will. I'll make your corpse. This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. This ends here. Am I supposed to be impressed?
With all the necromancers dead, I could grab the staff bark from the tree, report to Raminus, and then get my mage's staff. I chose paralysis, since that was going to come in handy in a clutch situation. With the mage's staff acquired and all my overpowered spells in hand, I felt like I was finally ready to go save Martin. I get to Kvatch and offer to help Savli and Matthias, the captain of the guard. I'm laughing because my own incompetence probably caused more problems for these NPCs than the Daedra did. It got off to a rocky start, check this out.
You want to help? You're kidding, right?
I hit everybody in the vicinity with an Area of Effect Fury spell that caused total pandemonium, and pretty soon, even the Kvatch guards were swinging at me. I really did not do a good job of protecting them. For what it's worth, I figured out that the Fury spells don't seem to impact certain kinds of Daedra. It will impact Dremora since they're humanoids, but I think the beast-like creatures like Clanifers and Daedras do not get affected by this. I ran around trying to shut down the Oblivion Gate, also running into some interesting chameleon colors along the way. Also, a Dremora hit and paralyzed me, and I almost shit myself. The damage that he's doing to me here is with the 100% shield spell, so keep that in mind. Also, for some reason, my buffs decided to stop displaying in the lower left-hand corner, which, while immersive, was also aggravating and stressful, as I didn't exactly know whether I was covered or for how long. Let me know if you guys have that issue in the comments. I eventually get to Martin, and I volunteer to help Savli and Matthias retake Kvatch. He ends up doing something weird though with the gate, and I'm pretty sure he's supposed to stop attacking at the portcullis and hand you a key, and you're supposed to go do all this stuff, so I didn't bother with it. I had other stuff to do. Ain't nobody got time to help him out. Now it's back to Wayne and Priory, featuring a Sean Bean who's very upset that all his other characters are dying, and more chameleon colors.
Help! You must help! They're killing everyone at Wayne Priory. I don't know. I think they're right behind me. I don't know. But can't you settle this peacefully?
For Lord Dagon. Fall before me, Breton! Show me
Be
what
glad you will
got.
not live to see the day Lord Dagon walks the earth. I do not fear death. Paradise awaits me.
Before Joffrey and Martin come with me to Cladruler Temple, I tell them to stay where we're at, then haul ass to the Arcane University to make a Paralyze spell. I wanted to make sure I had something to rely on in case my staff ran out of gas. On the way to Cladruler Temple, Martin and Joffrey decided to have a picnic in the wilderness, and I literally had to push Martin off of the rocks to get him moving again. When Martin and I arrived at Cladruler Temple, Joffrey took 13 hours to show up, and he was nowhere on my minimap to be found. I had to wait literally 13 hours for him to just come waltzing up the hill like it was another trip. It's not like we're escorting the heir to the Empire or anything. It kind of reminds me of the World of Warcraft Baron's Escort quest. If any of you guys have done that, Jesus.
Let's I was looking.
We hail Martin Septim.
Your Highness, the blades are at your command.
And Joffrey tasks me with meeting Baurus in the Imperial City.
You should go back to the Imperial City. Baurus may have learned something about the assassins.
I helped Baurus assassinate an assassin in a pub.
Sit down. Don't say anything. Just do what I say. Listen, I'm going to get up in a minute and walk out of here. That guy in the corner behind me will follow me. You follow him. Good. Remember, wait for him to follow me. I want to see what he'll do.
Move along, friend.
A little closer.
I do not
Stand ready.
fear death.
My blood for the Empire!
Then Baurus tells me to go find Tarmina, who will help us with the commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes and possibly locate the location of the Mythic Dawn Shrine.
There's a scholar at the Arcane University. Tarmina's her name. Supposed to be an expert on Daedric cults. Why don't you take that book to her? See what she makes of it.
Ah, you must be the Arcane University.
And
Ah, you must be the one I got the message about. How can I help you? You know of them? One of the most secretive of all the Daedric cults. Not much is known about them. They follow the teachings of Mankar Camoran, whom they call the Master, a shadowy figure in his own right. Ah, yes. Commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes. Wonderful. You have a scholarly interest in Daedric cults, then? Find them, huh? I won't poke my nose any further. Official business and all that. I'm used to working with the Blades. Don't worry. Say no more. In any case, finding them...
Tarmina says that we need books 3 and 4. Fintius, at the first edition in the Imperial City Market District, can help us possibly find Volume 3.
Here, you can have the library's copy of Volume 2. Treat it gently, if you please. As I've said, I've never even seen the 3rd and 4th volumes. You should try first edition. Fintius, the proprietor, caters to specialist collectors. He may have an eye.
It comes in 4 volumes. The first 2 volumes are rare, but you may run across them from time to time. The 3rd and 4th are impossible to find. I happen to have a copy of Volume 3 on hand, but I'm afraid it is, Special order. Already paid for by another customer. Sorry. Gwyneth would be terribly disappointed if it was gone when he came to pick it up. So sorry I can't help you. I'm afraid
He ain't telling us nothing. Oh well, I guess we'll have to use the Michael Jackson on him.
Day. Well, very well.
Also, the voice actor does a great job of aggravating me there with that. So sorry. He ain't sorry, man. Fuck him.
I hope you'll keep us in mind for all your specialty book needs. Good day.
I buy Volume 3 from Phintius and convince Gwyneth to tell me how he is planning on getting the location of Volume 4, a meeting with the Mythic Dawn sponsor.
I'm here for my book, Mankar Camoran's Commentaries, Volume 3.
Ah, about that. You see, I don't have it anymore. Terribly sorry. Full refund, of course.
You could be sure I won't be back. I've never been treated so shabbily in all my life. Good day, sir. I'll have you know that I visited the shrine of Sheogorath during the Festival of the Mad. I've spoken with Hermaeus Mora beneath the full moon. What? The Mythic Dawn were the ones? I really know very little. They contacted me. I suppose they learned that I was looking for the 3rd and 4th volumes. I've never actually met any of them, I swear. You can only get Volume 4 directly from a member of the Mythic Dawn.
So Baurus and I are gonna go meet him.
You were told to sit down. Are you incapable?
Sit down! Brothers, kill them! Lord Dagon will welcome your soul in Oblivion. Be glad you will not live to see the day Lord Dagon walks the earth.
I've sworn to die. But I've sworn to die.
You are weak, like...
A little closer.
My blood for the Empire!
That's 3 more that won't be reporting back to their master.
Cool, I was glad to get that over with. I was really nervous that Baurus was gonna die in the encounter, given that he told me he wouldn't survive. Now we just have to make it out of the sewers, and all Baurus has to do is survive that, and then he'll be good. Oh, guess not. Sorry, buddy. I guess I can't help you if you get clobbered to death by rats. Although, to be fair, getting out of here was more challenging than I expected. I got lost, my game crashed twice, and those goblins were really something else. Finally out of the Imperial sewers, we discovered the location to the Mythic Dawn. Actually, I lost the 4th commentary somewhere in there, but I already know where it's at.
You may pass into the shrine. Harrow will take you to the Master for your initiation into the service of Lord Dagon. Do not tarry. The time of...
I arrive at the shrine dressed in prisoner's garb, and no one seems to care, except they want me to hand over all my stuff. That includes my magic potions, and I can't do that, because without those, I'm about as useful as a poopy-flavored lollipop.
Give me your possessions, and put on this initiate's robe. What? I ask you one last time.
The time of cleansing.
The time of cleansing is almost...
I make members of the Mythic Dawn cult fight each other and make it out of there with the Mysterium Xarxes.
Why won't you die?
What you've got.
Praise be.
Don't hurt me!
We'll survive.
Vigilance.
Run away! Oh, Lord!
Lord, cleansing is almost here!
I do not fear death.
Do not fear death.
Paradise awaits me.
The time of cleansing is almost here! Oh, weak! Like the goat!
I wonder what became of the priest that was sacrificed on the altar, because if you go in there and you play along, they ask you to kill a priest, but if you free him, you get +1 to all the magic skills. But, I'm good on magic, so I don't know. But I also don't really care about what happened to him for that reason. I'm here for the skill increases, man. If he can't benefit me, I'm not gonna benefit him.
Somebody help!
We give the Mysterium Xarxes to Martin, and Joffrey tasks us with eliminating spies in Bruma.
You didn't recover the amulet, did you? By the 9! Such a thing is dangerous even to handle. In the meantime, you should speak to Joffrey. He was concerned about reports of spies in Bruma.
Track down the spies and kill them.
Impressed?
Except for Gerald coming back from a trip down south, things are pretty quiet.
The document speaks of 2 agents. You need to eliminate both of them.
I guess killing one of the spies and getting their orders all on my own without any help from anybody wasn't good enough for Joffrey. Get your quantum physics particle head out of here, man. You go do it. You were old, you were late to Cloud Ruler Temple, and now you're making me go kill more spies? Why don't you just go be the great hero Kvatch? This is why I never use him in Elder Scrolls Legends anyway.
Escape the Master's vigil.
You should speak to Martin. I believe he has made some progress with the Mysterium Xarxes.
Martin's discovered part of the Mysterium Xarxes and figures out that we need a Daedric artifact, the Star of Azura, which in turn requires glow dust to offer to the Azura Shrine at the proper time.
I deciphered part of the ritual needed to open a portal to Camoran's paradise. The Xarxes mentions 4 items needed for the ritual, but so far I have only deciphered one of them. The blood of a Daedra Lord.
These are dark times. Unless you can persuade me of your good intentions, I cannot speak further on this matter. You have entered a hole. This is the Shrine of Azura, Queen of the Dawn and the Dusk. If you wish to speak to the lady, leave her an offering of glow dust. We serve her will.
I didn't remember this part of the main quest line, and had I remembered that, I would have looted glow dust or bought some earlier, because it took me quite some time to find some.
There Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel. You bought that. You're a fine negotiator.
After getting the glow dust and offering at the proper time, Azura tasks us with clearing out 5 of her vampire-stricken followers who succumb to vampirism rather than let themselves be a blight on the world.
I have seen your name, traveler, and heard it whispered in twilight. I ask a service which holds promise of fame and reward. Many years ago, 5 followers slew the vampire Dratic and its kin, but all were infected by the foul creature. Knowing their fate, they sealed themselves up in the vampire's lair. Their suffering weighs heavily on me. Travel to the gutted mine. The door will open to you. Bring the piece of death to my followers, and you shall earn my gratitude.
This part was a nice relaxing break. It wasn't fetching anything, it was just going to a place and just killing 5 vampires, nice and easy. And I also got a good laugh out of the voice acting from the guy who sounded like he was withdrawing from some sort of bath salt or drug rather than the actual blood.
Blood! I need your blood!
Thank you, mortal. Their spirits are free, and henceforth above my shrine, 5 bright candles shall burn forever in memory of their sacrifice. For your service, take this token, that your deeds might be entered in the Book of Fate.
After that's done, I buzz up the mountains all the way back to Cloud Ruler Temple. I also got a wistful look at Frostcrack Spire because, man, it would have been nice to just use the portals to the Mages Guilds and fast travel and do all that cool stuff, but I'm a glutton for punishment because punishment equals pain, and pain equals content, and content equals engagement with all of you fine people, and that's why we're here, so all the way back to Cloud Ruler Temple we go.
I won't ask what you went through to obtain this, my friend. I know all too well the depravity of the princes of Oblivion. Ah, Azura's star. As beautiful as all the tales tell. You should talk to Joffrey. He needs your help. Trouble down in...
While Martin's working on the next piece of the Mysterium Xarxes, I'm tasked with going in to help Captain Burd and his guys close an Oblivion Gate. I'm not gonna lie, I'd done a lot of running around at this point, and I just wanted to get through the gate, help him close it, help Martin get the next piece, and just move on and try to rescue. So I just threw Chameleon on and tried to sneak past as many guys as I could, and eventually shut the gate down.
Good work. Captain Burd and his guardsmen should be able to handle any additional gates.
Back to Martin, who tells us that we need the blood of an Aedra Lord, which would be Tiber Septim, which means that we have to go to Sancre Tor, which is where his armor is, to scrape the blood off the piece of his armor.
I figured out another item needed for the ritual. To open the second item is the counterpart to the first, the blood of a divine. This was a terrible puzzle to me. Unlike the Daedra Lords, the gods have no artifacts, and do not physically manifest themselves in our world. How then to obtain the blood of a god? But Joffrey solved it. The blood of Tiber Septim himself, who became one of the divines. This is a secret remembered only by the Blades, passed down from one Grand Master. Be sure to speak to Joffrey.
On my way to Sancre Tor, I pinball down the Gerald Mountains and almost become more of a danger to myself than most of the enemies I've faced so far. I kind of wonder if the blood would still be there or still be accessible after all these years. I mean, it's been a long time. You'd think that the blood would be gone or maybe traces of it would still be there, but not enough to actually scrape. Basically, Martin's like, hey, we need you to go grab this armor from this really old dead guy so that we could maybe, hopefully, scrape his blood off, please? I don't know. Seems a little far-fetched to me, but it's another journey and we gotta do it to beat the main quest, so I'm off to hoof it across Cyrodiil again. Once you get to Sancre Tor, the old fort rumored to contain Tiber Septim's armor, you have to end up fighting 4 of the deceased blades in order for them all to kind of get out of their spirit form and then break an enchantment that prevents you from getting to Tiber Septim's armor. Also, in the process of that, I learned that while Paralyzed doesn't work on most undead, it also works on fated raids, strangely enough. Interesting. Watch how many Daedra this guy takes down. I think he's got the record for how many of my spider Daedra he killed. At some point in the process, I had at least 5 undead chasing me, and the dead Spectre Blade in the corner of the room decided to just go ahead and remark a commentary about it as they were swinging at him. It became total pandemonium, and it was one of the reasons that I love this game so much. Those whacks are with 100% shield, by the way. Insane. I know I probably said that like 1,000 times by now, but goddamn. At some point, the undead army turns to attacking a Wraith or Spectre of a former Blade, which bought me valuable time to regroup and calm myself down a little bit, because I seriously thought that this was going to be the end of the run. In all actuality, I was fine, but I tend to panic in situations like this, unfortunately. After defeating the last Blade and getting the quest marker telling me the Blades had been defeated, that guy started swinging at me. I don't know if I hit him or my Daedra or what, but I thought it was part of the quest and I had to kill him too in addition to them. Nope, I just pissed him off and had to deal with them. Eventually, him and the other Blades do their thing and kneel and allow me to grab the armor of Tiber Septim. Huzzah! I have zero interest in fighting the denizens of that ruin, so I go ahead and haul my half-chameleon ass out of there. I mean, I'm 100%, but visually it's like 50%, and I'm not sure what's up with that. Once we get back to Clad Ruler Temple, Martin makes more progress discovering what's up with the Mysterium Xarxes and sends us to go get a great Welkin Stone from the ruin of Miscarcand.
How goes your search? The Septim blood may flow through my veins, but you have the soul of a hero. There is only one place that is rumored to still contain one. The ruins of the Ayleid city of Miscarcand.
Nothing really to write home about there. Some goblins attack the zombies, which I thought was interesting. I fumble around the ruins looking for the right latches. I pick up some Welkin Stones. I grab the Great Welkin Stone and leave. I do get a close-up of the Lich because I'd never seen a Lich before in my life and just wanted to get a good look at how he was living before I went ahead and dipped out. I'm not fighting that guy, man. This is the 3rd fetch quest and I have a 4th one ahead of me that's timed and I wasn't feeling it, man. I'm just gonna get in, see the sights, and get out. Martin tells us that the 4th item we need is a Great Sigil Stone as a counterpart to the Great Welkin Stone and that we need to let the Mythic Dawn proceed with their plan to open up the Great Gate in front of Bruma. This part of the main quest is actually fairly stressful because Martin is eligible to die here. If he dies, I have to start all over, and I don't actually have any restoration spells that can heal him. He gives a little speech, and I spend all 28 of my frames per second paralyzing anything I can remotely paralyze that looks like a Daedra.
Soldiers of Cyrodiil, the Empire will stand or fall by what we do here today. Will we let the Daedra do to Bruma what they did to Kvatch? Will we let them burn our homes? Will we let them kill our families? No! We make our stand here, today, for the whole of Cyrodiil. We must hold fast until the hero of Kvatch can destroy their great gate. We must kill whatever comes out of that gate. Soldiers of Cyrodiil, do you stand with me?
I've got that one.
Someone's been murdered.
Once we get inside the Great Gate, I have a 13-minute timer or something like that, so I just chameleon and book it straight to where I need to go. I jump over the lava platforms, I don't fight anything, man. We're just going straight to the top and grabbing that thing so that we can get Martin to the Imperial City and get this Mehrunes Dagon crisis over with. I never really realized how much of the Oblivion main questline is the hero of Kvatch being an errand boy. First you have to actually go get Martin, then you have to bring him back to Wayne and Priory, then you have to bring him to Clad Ruler Temple, then you have to go get 4 items for him, then you actually have to guide him through the Imperial City. And this is on top of you being a babysitter for Captain Burd and his guys. There are some cool detective missions like the one with Baurus and the one with the Spies, but other than that, you're pretty much running around the whole questline. The only reason I say that is because I didn't fast travel during any of it, and it definitely was a lot of running. If Oblivion had TV commercials though, Restore Fatigue would be all over it. Want to run indefinitely and regain stamina while running? Purchase Restore Fatigue today. Only 999 gold per potion. Or in the case of a Master Alchemist, like 80. Really tangentially far out, if you do the Ulrich Leland Finds quest in Cheydinhal, somebody will complain that they make like 5 to 15 gold a year as a farmer or something, so I don't think the Restore Fatigue potions would be accessible to your average person. After we get the Great Sigil Stone, Martin is finally able to open up the portal to Mankar Camoran's paradise so that we can go get him and get the Amulet of Kings back from him. I will say, the Oblivion Remastered animation for the portal is top tier, and it made you feel amazing. Check it out. Man, that gave me chills. That's why I play this game. This game has a lot of bullshit running around, and you can wall run mountains like a freaking Naruto runner anti-gravity ninja, or as Charlie Sheen said, a high priest, Vatican assassin warlock. Mankar Camoran's paradise is topped with alchemy ingredients, and actually looks like a fairly pleasant place if it wasn't for all the Daedra and all the monsters. It's like some weird blend of heaven and hell. I think they did a really good job with it, and it looks awesome. He monologues me.
So, the cat's paw of the Septims arrives at last. You didn't think you could take me unawares, here of all places, in the paradise that I created. Look now upon my paradise. Gaia Alata in the old tongue, a vision of the past and the future.
His Daedra decides to shit-talk me before I paralyze him, and my spider shocks him to death.
So I offer you a choice. Would you confront me in battle? Your mind follows the simple path. The choice of an animal. You will fail.
And I pucker a little bit while being lowered into the lava. I remember this part from the base game because it really freaked me out. Mankar Camoran talks to me some more, I pick up some more plants, and I'm on my way to fight his son and daughter, who I thought I was going to have to fight right there, but I forget they are actually, like, cordial to you and take you inside Mankar Camoran's little alien ruined palace thing.
Well done, champion. Your progress is swift and sure. Perhaps you will reach me after all. You think I mock you? Not at all. In your coming, I hear the footsteps of fate. You are the last defender of decadent Tamriel. I am the midwife of the Mythic Dawn. I welcome you, if you truly are the agent of fate. I tire of the self-styled heroes who set themselves in my path only to prove unworthy in the event.
So, here you are at last, the lackey of the Septim Pretender. You still think you have a chance, don't you? We knew you would find your way here eventually, but it is... You should not keep my father waiting any longer. He expected you hours ago. Come, you came...
You did not expect to see me again, did you? You have no grasp of the power that my father has at his command. You think you can stop us? Soon Mehrunes Dagon will walk upon Tamriel for the first time since the Mythic Age, and our victory...
I have waited a long time for you, champion of old Tamriel. You were the last gasp of a dying age. You breathed the stale air of false hope. How little you understand. You cannot stop Lord Dagon. The walls between our worlds are crumbling. The mythic dawn grows nearer with every rift in the firmament. Soon, very soon, the lines now blur.
You know he's a badass boss of importance when he's able to continue his scripted monologue and fight me at the same time.
Shall rise from the ashes of the old. Feed me alone. My vision shall be...
I tried to pit Mankar Camoran's son and daughter against him, but it was clear that that wasn't going to be enough to take him down. I was actually wondering how I was going to kill him because it didn't look like he was dying, and his son and daughter kept getting rezzed from the dead, so this was kind of a head-scratcher for me. I thought I was going to be stuck in some kind of combat loop.
The amulet of kings is mine.
The dawn is breaking!
Of the last ragged septim stands before me, in the heart. Let us see who at last prove the stronger.
He was here a second ago.
Don't hold back.
Also, I forgot that he had a reflect spell robe on, and so I paralyzed him, and then tried to paralyze him again, and paralyzed myself, and we both ended up laying there and taking a little nap for a while, which definitely stressed me out, because if my shield went away, that would be the end of it.
I welcome the contest. Strength against strength. I welcome the contest.
Die, unbeliever!
Eventually, Oblivion became Oblivion, and Mankar Camoran decided to stand there and wonder where I went while my Spider Danger took huge chunks out of him.
He was here a second ago.
Still has some fight left in her. Your cause is already lost. A worthy foe at last.
Your presence here will not be tolerated. You are weak, like the god.
The fight only lasted about 8 minutes, but that felt like an eternity. I get back to the realm of the living and finally give the Amulet of Kings to Martin. Here we go. All we have to do is get him to the Imperial City and escort him to the Temple of the One, and it will all be over. All the running, all the fetching, all the spying, all the killing, all the paralyzing, all the chameleoning, all the ings are going to end once we get to the Imperial City. Thank God.
It belongs to me, the Amulet of Kings. So you and Joffrey have said, if it is true, if the Emperor really was my father, then only those of the Septim blood can wear the Yes, of course. After all, this is my destiny. And no man can deny his destiny. I didn't really need the amulet to tell me that. I've known it was true since you first told me back in Kvatch. But it is one thing to talk of becoming Emperor, and quite another to actually be the Emperor. Not yet. Until we light the Dragonfires, the gates are open, and Mehrunes Dagon's invasion continues. While you were gone, I sent a messenger to Chancellor Akato. He waits for us in the Imperial City. Chancellor Akato is the head of the Elder Council. The Council rules in the Emperor's absence. I don't expect any objections from the Elder Council, but we should defer to their authority. Let's go to the Imperial...
I've been expecting you. The full council has already considered the matter of Martin's claim to the Imperial throne in detail. Martin Septim, on behalf of the Elder Council, I accept your claim to the Imperial throne.
Chancellor Okato, the city is under attack. Oblivion gates have opened and Daedra are inside the walls. The guard is overwhelmed.
Courage, soldier. We have an emperor again. Your Highness, what are your orders? Shall the guard fall back to the palace?
No. If we let ourselves get besieged in the palace, we're doomed. We must get to the Temple of the One immediately.
As you command, sire. Guards, form up and protect the Emperor. To the Temple of the One.
What? Huh? Chancellor Okato ran behind me, and I ran in front of him, and he hit me with his lightning staff without my 50% spell absorb up, and it killed me immediately. So let me get this straight. I had a 50% chance to absorb that flat out, was protected from everything else, didn't put the spell absorb on since I didn't think I was in danger, and he hit and killed me. I didn't even know that type of friendly fire was possible. So after approximately 22 to 23 hours of play, including an 8-minute fight with Mankar Camoran, that's the end of the run. I failed. I failed to save Martin because I died in the room with Chancellor Okato by Chancellor Okato's hand, so I guess Chancellor Okato was with the Mythic Dawn the whole time. I really enjoyed making the video, guys. It was a ton of fun to make, and surprisingly a ton of fun to edit. I really enjoyed putting all the little graphics in there and stuff like that, so if you guys have hardcore runs you want to see, or interesting things to try, or questions about the game, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.